And we shift our focus to some other stories that we are tracking is where surge prices continue to singe the flyers. Even as domestic airfare cools off slightly, prices continue to be exorbitant. And now a report has come forth which says India tops the chart when it comes to domestic airfare hike. As per report by the Airport Council International, there has been a record jump by 41% in the domestic airfare. The report goes on to highlight that domestic airfares started climbing up from September 2022 when the government removed the airfare caps, and that were imposed only during the pandemic.
Actually, honestly, since we are also not from Pune, but then we are students here and now we will be working, so we have to travel back and forth to our hometowns. So it gets very difficult as a fresher also.
Definitely it will affect, no, because it is, for common people increase is always painful only.
Rates are rising because huge demand. People were at home that time, in COVID time, and now tourism, industry as well. So they are taking undue advantage of that.
मतलब एज कम्पेयर टू 2 साल पहले जो एयर फेयर थे उससे तो अभी बहुत बड़े हैं मतलब और कंटिन्यूस 6 महीने से बढ़ ही रहे मतलब वो एक्चुअली थोड़े लेवल पे आने चाहिए.
अगर मुझे इनिशियली आज ही बुक करना है वो टिकट्स बहुत महंगे है. दैट रेगुलेशन शुड बी दैट कि आज प्राइस जो है वही कल प्राइस होना चाहिए. एवरीडे प्राइस जो टैग है वो इक्वल होना चाहिए. दैट व्हाट आई फील.
I have a flyer who's joining us right now who took a ticket, in fact, who took a flight from Delhi to Bangalore just last week, spending almost 19,000. Let's quickly take this across, understand the pain that people are having to face today. Sir, if I can ask you, you're saying that you spent almost about 19,000 last week. How bad is the situation really? People are helpless. They're having to book flights because, there's a lot of work that's come up for some reason or the other. How bad is the situation really?
I think it's bad. We need more airlines rather than having capping the flights. We need more airlines so that there's a competition and the rates are coming. I think this has happened because Go Air suddenly went bankrupt and they started flying. So that's the reason the rates have shot up. Earlier it was like 8 to 10,000, around 7 to 8,000. But I think from June onwards or last week from May onwards, since Go Air is gone, the rates have really shot up to 19, 17, 18, 19, somewhere around 20,000 rupees.
So there's a report that's come forward now that suggests that, since September 2022, the airfares, domestic airfares in India have only been on a rise. And, that there's not been much capping that's been done. Do you think that the government should step in, that more should be done? Because even as we're reporting this, a lot of politics has erupted over the issue. You have the ruling and the opposition hitting out at each other, but it's ultimately the people that continue to get affected.
Again, rather than we should have more airlines. I think once we have more airlines, automatically fares will go down. Rather than capping, we have, I think, 4 or 5 airlines in our country. And India is huge. I don't think 4 or 5 airlines can sustain the demand and everything.
As a very simple solution, have a ceiling that airfares will not go above, a particular ceiling. Irrespective of whether you buy the ticket at the last moment or you buy the ticket, maybe 7 days, 10 days earlier. It's the absence of the ceiling which is allowing airlines to charge extremely exorbitant, and if I may say, extortionist fares, primarily taking advantage of the fact that certain people may have to fly at the last moment. And so therefore, across the board, especially post-COVID-19, you've seen this exponential surge in both domestic and international airfares. In fact, international travel has become prohibitively expensive. I think there's almost been a 100 or 200% rise in airfares across the board. And therefore, the Ministry of Civil Aviation needs to come in. It needs to talk to the International Civil Aviation Organization. So there has to be a certain modicum of rationalization. You cannot allow airlines the liberty and the flexibility to recoup their COVID-19 losses by charging, what I earlier said, not only exorbitant but extortionist airfares.
And we shift our focus to some other story that we are tracking is where from ministers to Aam Aadmi, everybody has borne the brunt of soaring airfares. Karnataka Transport Minister Ramalinga Reddy said that he had to pay a whopping 30,000 to travel from Bengaluru to Delhi. The Karnataka Congress minister targeted the centre over skyrocketing prices and sought respite for the common man.
Airfare, they have not rise today. Every day they used to rise. Even last week I went to Delhi. The rate was 30,000. Every day they review. This is not this is unfair. They should not do like that.
So the Civil Aviation Minister is also, trying to speak to all the airline companies and making sure that they will reduce the airfare and make comfortable for the common man.
No, there should be a fixed rate. For example, in our buses, the rates are fixed. In trains, rates are fixed. Why in air every day fluctuating? If we book 1 month early, 3,000-4,000 we can go for Delhi. If today I want to book, I want to go to Delhi. If I ask the air people, they will tell 30,000, 40,000 like that.
See, the whole issue was to getting in the Udan was to make sure that flying will be affordable to everyone, which is not happening in this government. Let it be the central government earlier or union government. So they need to really do something about it because the airfare which are there, they are skyrocketing. One single ticket is costing nothing less than 25,000 to even closer ranges. So I think something seriously needs to be done about it, and I think it's high time the central government has done something about it.
And we shift our focus